everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm kind of out and about running some errands. I am going to pick up some canning jars at Target because I want to start harvesting the rest of my cucumbers, or whatever cucumbers are ready to harvest, and I want to start fermenting those and try that whole thing out. I haven't fermented anything ever in my life, so we are just gonna go get some canning jars at Target, and then I think they also had some the fermentation weights to keep the veggies down under the brine. So I would have to go to a further Target location because the Target near me doesn't have many canning supplies, and I think the Target further away from me does have a little bit more, and they also have those weights. So I'm probably going to take a little bit of a drive. It's probably going to be 20 to 30 minutes each way. Hopefully I don't hit traffic on the way back down. But that's basically what we're doing today. We're gonna start fermenting those cucumbers into pickles. I'm super excited. Never done it before, like I said. So I'm just gonna be taking you guys along on this journey with me, and we're just gonna kind of experiment together. We are finally back from running all of those errands. It took me a few hours. I went to a few different stores, and so I'm just gonna do a little haul of all I got. So mainly I got things for the fermentation that we're going to be doing today. I've never fermented, like I said. I'm nervous, but I feel like if just as long as I do it slowly, safely, and follow trusted instructions, then I will be fine. Another thing we do gotta do today also is harvest our cucumbers. We still gotta do that. I was kind of waiting last minute. This time is probably not the best time to harvest cucumbers because it's 3 p.m. and it's probably close to 85 outside, so it's probably not the best time, but I think it'll be fine. I'm not super sure. I went to 2 different stores. I went to Target, and then I went to Fred Meyer. What I got from Target is this little fermentation lids and springs. I didn't have enough time to order fermentation weights, unfortunately, off of Amazon. But they did have these at Target, and these are why I had to go and run to the Target that's not near me, but further away from me, because the Target closer to me did not have these. This is what the spring looks like, and I guess you're supposed to. I also don't know if I got big enough jars. I think I probably should have gotten a pint. And not, these are 16, so these are half 32. But basically, this is just supposed to go in here and push down onto the cucumber and keep them below the brine. I also got these at Target. I got the mason jars. There's 12 of them. Target was actually a really, really good price for these mason jars. I think I paid $12 to $14 for them. I got a few seasonings. I got mustard seed, and then I also got black peppercorn because I researched that these were almost the most common to put in your brine with your cucumbers. And then we're also going to be adding some dill. I got fresh dill right here, and some bay leaves. Got more lids. These I thought were super cute. They're just wooden lids after you've used Yeah, so you don't can with these or ferment with these. You just would place these lids on after you've opened everything, especially for canning. All natural sea salt. When you ferment, you want to make sure that you use natural salt. So like sea salt, anything that doesn't have iodine or that has been chemically processed, because that will mess with the fermentation process. So I'm going to set everything up, and I'm going to probably throw these as well as the jar. I'm trying to think how I can sanitize it, because I want to try and do this the safest way that I can possible. And we're gonna go harvest our cucumbers. So now we are in the garden, and we are gonna go ahead and harvest any cucumbers that may look bad or good or kind of in the middle. I kind of got confused with the colors of each of the cucumbers I harvested. Some of them looked overripe, underripe, or just a little yellow or very light green. And it was just really confusing. Like this one, if I would have let it go any longer, it probably would have started turning brown. But I did go ahead and grab any of the ones that looked bad, like this one, and I went ahead and tossed it in my little bucket because I still wanted to cut it open and see what's going on in there and if it smelled really bad, and just to kind of know my cucumbers. And so I went ahead and grabbed all of the good, the bad, and the ones that I just really wasn't sure, so that we could go ahead and promote that new growth and kind of reserve all of that energy and point it towards new growth and new and more cucumbers. So that's kind of what my plan was. And just some of these were kind of hard to get off with one hand, but I got them off. Excuse the fans and the no light in here except for natural light. It's really hot, so I don't want to turn anything on or off. I harvested my cucumbers and I'm stumped. I'm very, very stumped. I don't remember if I grew pickling cucumbers or regular cucumbers. I do have two quite large cucumbers. Like, actually, this one looks pretty good. This is the very, very first one I harvested. So this, which I don't even know is still good, but it's yellow. And it's huge, so that's kind of what made me think that I planted regular cucumbers. But it seems like before they get to that size, a lot of my cucumbers are just yellow. I'm gonna rinse these and then I'll show you. So I accidentally got hand soap in this bowl, but I think it's fine. I'm just gonna rinse these off. And then I'll show you what they look like. So I have this one, right? That's the very first one I harvested. And that is the size that I thought that they were supposed to get at. But this one is not even half the size, and it's starting to yellow. And when they yellow, I think that's when they're overripe and they're not good to eat. This end is also, it has a tint of brown. So I think for this one, I'm gonna make a pile, but I think for this one, I'm just gonna throw it away. But I do want to open them just because I'm curious and I wanna see what's going on in here. Same for this one, it's just really incredibly deformed. And it's brown and yellow. And so I don't know if it's overripe or it's just not done growing yet. I think it's overripe now. So I definitely want to open this one up. I didn't really want to cut the pickles up to ferment them, but I think that is what I am gonna do. I just wanted to ferment them whole, but I mean, I'm not gonna be able to fit much with these shapes going on. And like these, is that like a yellow, like it's not still growing, or is it starting to get overripe? It's kind of more of a tinted green than a yellow, so that's, I just harvested them anyways. But I did read that once you harvest your cucumbers, then that's when your cucumber plants will start producing more fruit and putting more energy into newer fruit. So this is what I am left with, all these guys. So let's go ahead and cut up the ones that we're not going to use. I did end up turning the light on because I do want to see in these. I really just don't know. It does smell a little strong. Alright, so here are all the cucumbers that I just cut up. And it just looks like the seeds are a little off color, and they just don't look, I just really don't know. I'm gonna put all these, or at least some of them, into this bowl, and then I'm gonna go ahead and cut open the ones that I think are good and kind of compare the two. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the rest of these up and see which ones are good to ferment. I let my jars and these little springs soak in hot water for about 15 minutes, just to be safe. I cut up all the cucumbers that were good, that I think are good. Here are all the cucumbers that I think are good. I tried a piece of cucumber off of each cucumber just to see if it was good or not. And some of them didn't taste so good. Now what we're going to do, wash my hands with soap just to make sure that I'm doing this with clean hands. So our hands are clean, and I think we're gonna go ahead and put our cucumbers in our jars. Now, what's nice about these little weight things about this box that they came in, they actually have an easy brined cucumber pickles recipe on here and how to do it. So, because I trust a company a little bit more than an online recipe, you know, a famous mason jar company, I trust them a little bit more than just some random online recipe. This is for 1 quart or 32-ounce jar. I have 16-ounce jars, so I'm going to do half of the recipe that it calls for. And you want to make sure that you do the right amount of salt to water ratio, just to make sure that you're getting enough salt to safely ferment, so that no bacteria can grow in there, no mold, and just to prevent anything of that sort. For the 32 ounce, it says to combine 3 cups of water and a half a tablespoon of salt. We're gonna grab 1.5 cups of water. I got my 1 tablespoon of salt, and then my 1.5 cups of water. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and pack these cucumbers in these jars. So we got our jars filled with the cucumbers. And now let's read what is next. So it says, add any optional seasonings into the jar. Make sure there is at least 2 inches of head space. If necessary, slice off the top ends of the pickles to ensure proper head space. Pour saltwater brine over to cover by 1 inch. You may have extra. Okay, I'm gonna add 2 bay leaves each. Now what the bay leaves do is they add tannins. I think that's right. So I'm not really exactly sure. The bay leaves have the enzyme tannins to help protect the pickles and to keep them crisp. There are a few other type of tannins that you can add. You would just have to research on which ones that you would most fit you. So now we're gonna add some dill. I'm gonna rinse it off before we go ahead and place it in there. So I'm gonna add 2 little sticks each dill. Fresh dill. I'm using fresh dill. I'm gonna add some black peppercorn as well. This lid doesn't come off, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. Just gonna put a little bit of each. And then for the mustard seed, 1 teaspoon. So I put 1 tablespoon or teaspoon of mustard seed in each jar. And now I'm gonna put a couple of garlic cloves in each jar as well. We are now gonna pour our brine in. I didn't pour the salt in the water. We're just gonna pour the 1 tablespoon of salt in there. And then we're gonna go ahead and get another tablespoon of salt and pour it in our other one. 1.5 cups of water. And yeah, we definitely don't need all of the water. And we're actually going to wipe down these lid rims just to be safe. Okay, so now I'm just going to wipe down the rim of this jar, both of them. And put these springs in. Oh boy. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. So just to make sure, just pop this on there. All right. So honestly, I'm not sure if I did it right. I feel like I did it completely wrong. But we'll see. So here's both of my jars. And the directions say, cover with a cloth and store in a cool place. Check daily to make sure vegetables remain submerged in the brine. After 24 hours, there will be visible bubbles on the top of the brine. And then it just says, let pickles ferment for 1 week, then remove lid and spring. Remove 1 pickle to taste. If the flavor is to your liking, proceed to step 8. And then step 8 is, once desired flavor is reached, remove spring and add more fresh brine if necessary to cover by 1 inch. And then restore in the refrigerator for up to 6 months. I would say that's pretty good practice. I'm not sure if I did it right. I hope I did. But it was pretty fun, and to think that I kind of did it is exciting. Well, that concludes the rest of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys maybe learned something along with me. I know it wasn't a super informational video, but that wasn't really my intention of this video. I think my intention of this video was to bring you along with me to learn how to do this and where my mistakes were, or what I did right, what I did wrong. So we will find out in a couple of days. I will also post another YouTube video about it, most likely, to kind of give a little bit of an update. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.